Well, Mo, thank you very much for joining us here on the Asian Game. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. We'll get into talking about your journey with the Jordanian national team in a moment, but obviously you've joined Selangor in the last month. It's been about a month now that you've been in Malaysia. How are you settling into life in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, hi. Nice meeting you, and thank you for having me. I think coming here to Malaysia, it's beautiful. It's different. Southeast Asia is much more different than the background in which I grew up in. For me, I grew up in the States, so coming here, it's completely different. It's definitely very cultured. Something I'm used to though, considering I travel overseas quite a lot. In that, with the national team, I'm in Jordan. I'm in the Middle East a whole bunch. But KL is beautiful. Malaysia is beautiful. Amazing people. Luckily, everybody speaks English, so it's very easy to get around. And I love trying new food. And um, yeah, the food here is great. Everything's cheap. It's class. It's nice.
What's your favorite that you've discovered so far? Favorite food?
I don't know if I can technically say this is a little dessert, but I just had it the
Your
other
coach
day. It
isn't
was like
listening. It's okay.
yeah, it was like a pancake, kind of. It was like a green pancake with brown sugar in the inside. First time I've ever seen anything like it. It looked like a spring roll, kind of. I don't know, but I tried it and I was shocked at how good it tastes.
It sounds decadent and it sounds good. You mentioned that everybody speaks English and it's been a smooth integration for you. There were some of your national team teammates as well, Noor and Ali from the Jordanian national team. Did that help having some familiar faces there when you landed on the ground?
Quite a lot. Having Noor and ID here, it's very helpful. Um, Obviously we're all from Jordan. We all play together in the national team. So it's very nice having them here, and that I can speak Arabic with them. And I actually we live right next to each other, all of us. So it's super nice how close knit we are, and it's good to have people from the same background, same culture, same everything from where you're from, in the same in a when you're in a different environment, such as Malaysia, for instance, or a whole new country.
Yeah. So you hang out quite a bit outside of the training and the football.
Yeah. We're with each other all the time, all the time. Yeah, we go to
You'll be
dinner
sick of the
together.
sight of each other by the time you get to the national team.
Yep. Actually, yeah. Then when
I
we
hope
go
you don't.
national, I don't really speak with them that much.
I was going to say, I hope you don't room with them when you're in the national team as well. You'll be absolutely sick of the sight of each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about your background because I'm sure people have picked up the American accent. You said you grew up or born in and raised in America. So tell our listeners about your background and your journey. How did a kid from Kansas end up playing for the Jordanian national team?
Yeah. So I grew up in Kansas City. I played for an MLS academy called Sporting KC. So obviously the MLS team is Sporting KC. So I played for their academy, and then I was involved in their system. I went to preseason. We trained with the first team a lot. I played second team, and then I took a little different route than what majority of people would take. I actually ended up going to school, to university, because I got offered a MLS contract by the club. But university was super important for me, getting a good education, having an actual degree. So I preferred that versus me getting an online degree, because obviously online degrees aren't exactly the same as attending. For instance, I don't know if you're um, aware, or like if you know the universities in the U.S., but I attended the University of Notre Dame for 2 years, and then I transferred to the University of Pittsburgh. So both academically, top schools. Very difficult to get into. So I did that, and then I went back to sporting. I went to preseason again with the first team, but then I ended up getting injured. So then, when you're in a system like that, you kind of get pushed off to the side, say for instance, because I was kind of going on like a trial, because I didn't play much my senior year because of an injury that I had. And the college football system is very weird in that you play only in the fall, really. You play like 20 some games in the fall, and then in the spring you play six. It's crazy. It's crazy. You play 20 some games. It's like you're playing a game every 2 days. So you're really not training. You're basically just playing. It's crazy, crazy system. But again, it's important for me to get the education. So I went back to sporting, played second team, first team, and then I that's when I spoke with the national team, Jordan, before, and then they called me up for the U23s. I played my first camp. We went to Lebanon. It was very cool. It was very nice in Lebanon. And then after that, we went to Iraq. I did very well. I remember my first. It was, I guess, like my first official match, technically, because it wasn't a friendly. It was West Asia Cup. We played against Iraq. I scored 2 goals in Iraq and got man of the match. Class, yeah, it was good. So that would probably be my favorite U23 moment. And then fast forward, I was with them until the the next following year, which would be this past summer. But about that time after Iraq, then I transferred over to a club in the Middle East in Jordan called Al Hussein SC, and I played with them a whole year, and then after that, it was a little bit difficult of a time for me because when I went, I was the seventh central defender, and yeah, and it's kind of crazy having seven central defenders when you play a back four with two center backs. So it didn't really make any sense as to why they brought me, and uh, I didn't really fully understand why I was brought. But because normally in a scout, normally in a club in a scouting system, they're like, okay, well, we have already a full roster of midfielders. We're not going to sign another six if we already have two or three sixes. There's no point. So we're not even going to look at it. Yeah. But Hussein kind of they kind of run Jordan a little bit. So so they were just like, oh, start in from D23s, we want him. We're gonna take him no matter what. So nobody else can take him. Yeah, so I kind of went under the radar that year. This past year, I was just playing with the U23s for national team, and then we ended up getting a senior team national team head coach change. So after Asia, because obviously I'm sure you know what happened with Asia Cup, how you reached the final. And yeah, tremendous, tremendous job from the boys. And new manager came and he believes a lot in the young guys. And versus kind of the old manager was very much into having more experienced players. But this coach prefers 50 kind of. Depends obviously. So yeah, so he did a camp in the summer, kind of like a local players camp. He saw me, he liked me a lot, and then ever since then I've been.
Lovely. And just your personal background as well. Your parents are Jordanian. You were telling me before we started. How how was life for you growing up? You mentioned that you can speak Arabic with the players. You obviously speak Arabic as well. What was your life like growing up in America? Did you travel back to Jordan at all very often? What was that part of your life like?
Yeah, my my parents spoke with me a lot of Arabic, so that's where I picked it up from them, just speaking with me in the house, and through text messages, phone calls, etc. Just any which way possible, it was all in Arabic. So then that way I picked up on it. But then I went to a like a private Islamic school where they taught Arabic for middle school, so for 3 years, and that also helped increase my Arabic a little bit more. And then yeah, so that's pretty much how I grew up with like learning Arabic. And I went back to Jordan quite a lot. Practically almost every summer I would go, especially whenever I would go and spend 3 months there, 2 months there, and just stay at my grandparents because my parents wanted a little break. So
And what are your memories of that time? What are your memories of going back? I'm assuming it might not be, but I'm assuming it was Amman that you went back to the capital. What are your memories of spending summers in Jordan in Amman with your grandparents?
yeah, it was Amman, a little bit outside Amman, but basically Amman. So there. and where they live, it's Al Ahmed, so a lot of it is uh, like farms, kind of. So it's like a house in the middle, and it's like a farm surrounding it. And so I'd always be playing. So I'd always be playing football with my cousins there because it was like a building that my grandparent built or my grandfather built that had apartments for like the entire family. So a lot of my cousins are my age. We just play football and play all the time there. So it was very, very good times. Or hide and seek, I remember, because I mean, on a farm, it's fun playing hide and seek. There's millions of spots to hide.
Go for
Big, big,
hours.
big. Yeah, exactly. But it was safe in the aspect that it was like closed off completely. So you didn't have to worry about, dogs in the middle of the night or something like that coming up. And, because obviously you're in the middle of the desert. So it's a little, but, but yeah, it was all just great fun times.
Yeah. You made your senior national team debut earlier this month, I think it was, in October. I think you got called up for the camp in September, didn't actually get on the field, but got on the field against Korea Republic to make your national team debut. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it was tremendous. Honestly, I didn't even realize it was my debut until probably after the entire camp went. That I was like, "Yo, I actually debuted against Korea Republic." Um, I was just so in the zone because we were losing 2-0. Whenever I subbed on, I was like, "Let's try to see if we can do something." I don't know how much I can do, but least I can do is just us not to concede a goal. But to play, especially make your debut against Korea Republic with the players that they have, I mean, they all play in Europe. They're top, top, top quality players. Yeah, yeah, it was just a great experience overall, and something I'm, alhamdulillah, very happy for that. At least the coach entrusted me to sub in and make my debut on a game like that.
Obviously, disappointing result in that game, but a couple of days later, played against, I think you started that game as well against Oman, 4-0 win. Ali Olwan, your teammate at Selangor, scored a couple of goals in that game. How up and about was he when he returned to Malaysia? And tell us about that as well, to play in a win that puts Jordan second in this group now.
Yeah, it was very important win, very big win, a win that we needed. If we didn't win that, it'd be a very, very, very different story right now. Um, but obviously, I believe the group is still very tight. I think Iraq is also tied on 7 points, and we're just ahead of them on goal differential, and we still have to play them in Iraq right now.
Yeah, you play them next in Iraq, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
in
next
a week
game.
and a half, and it's a big stadium, like 65, 75,000 fans. It'll be full, so it'll be a difficult game for sure. But inshallah, I think it's something that we can do to help increase us to qualifying for the World Cup, because that is the ultimate end goal for this qualifying stage, and not to get to the next set of qualifying and then have to qualify again. But yeah, Ali, I remember in the game when when he had a PK, all I see is I'm like, oh, okay, Ali's gonna take it. Oh, it's a goal for sure. And I see him place it upper 90. I'm like, oh, this guy has some balls. So for him to score, two goals there, I believe, and then to come back here and continue his form from there, from how well he played against Oman, even South Korea or Korea Republic, he still played very well because it was a difficult game. But to continue his form from Oman to here with against Jeonbuk and the goal he scored, yeah, this guy, it's something that's very normal for him. Honestly, he has a lot of quality on the ball, tremendous striker, and I love training against him because he always pushes me to defend my best. But he never gets by me, huh?
Never, never. I'll come back to World Cup qualifying in a moment. You just mentioned that result against John Book, so we'll touch upon that now. Obviously, in the AFC Champions League too, John Book are a powerhouse of Asian football. They're going through a tough period at the moment, but they dominated Korean football for the best part of the last decade. They've won the AFC Champions League itself 2 times. To get a win like that for a club like Selangor in Malaysia, we've seen what JDT have been able to do, but for a club like Selangor to beat a club like John Book that put you in a great chance of getting out of the group now. What does that win mean to the group, to the team?
Yeah, it's a big win. Obviously, it put us in first in the group, and it's important because you never know what happens in the future too. You never know what happens when we go to and play at Junbuk. It's going to be a very difficult game. Think about how far we have to travel, etc. So if we're only able to get a draw, for instance, there, at least we're still in first. So being able to get a win against Jeonbuk is very, very, very good. And I know that they're actually a very big super house of a team because Yazan Al Arab he plays for Seoul and he was telling us like although Jeonbuk is having a very bad season, they're still considered one of the top Korean teams in Korea. So he just gave us a heads up on that, and it was good to know because when we played them, I mean, the quality just spoke for itself. So it reminded me of Korea Republic. I mean, I'd hope so. So practically, same nationality, but obviously to a little lesser of a quality because playing against the national team, the quality is going to be a lot higher.
No, no, that was it. On coming back to the World Cup qualifying now, as I said, you're in a really good position, second in the group, still 6 games to go, so still a long way to go. But I think the momentum that's carried forward from the Asian Cup has continued, and you are in a good position. It would be huge for the country if they were able to achieve it, the first time they'll have ever qualified for a World Cup. For you, would it mean a little bit extra knowing that this World Cup is going to be effectively in your own backyard? I mean, Kansas City is a host city. Depending on which way the draw could fall, you could even play in Kansas City. I mean, does this mean a little bit extra to try and get Jordan to qualify, knowing that you'd be playing in your backyard?
For sure, for sure. I think out of everybody, I have the most like reason to qualify because it's in you know uh, the country I was born, or one of the countries in which it'll be in. But because it's in the U.S., yeah, and especially in Kansas City, who knows? Maybe we play there. It'd be crazy if that would happen. But yeah, it'd feel like a homecoming. But yeah, I think inshallah. I know there's still a long ways to go because there's still 6 more matches, and it's 12, correct, total.
10 total, yeah.
10 total. Yeah. Yeah. So we're literally just about to hit halfway right now. So still a long, long journey to go. And there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but inshallah, it'll be mostly ups and we'll qualify.
Mm. Final question then. If we can just rewind to a little bit earlier this year, we spoke about the Asian Cup final that Jordan made, a remarkable achievement that I don't think anyone saw coming. You mentioned you weren't in that squad, but you were in Jordan playing for Al Hussein at the time. Some of your teammates were in the squad. Can you tell us about what that experience was like, being in Jordan while it was happening, and just seeing what the national team was able to do? What was that experience like?
I remember after every single game, especially after the group stage, or maybe it was after we tied Korea, the streets they were flooding with cars, with people honking, turning their lights on, with Jordanian flags everywhere. Every single car. I mean, it was crazy. There was insane amount of traffic, especially after the semifinals. I remember because then the finals there was still a lot. Like they did like a parade and all that for the finals too, for reaching the finals or getting second place. But I remember the semis too, especially because it was against Korea Republic. So it was like you cannot go outside for 3 4 hours. Just stay inside because otherwise you're stuck in traffic and you're not going to be moving for that long. Yeah, but it was good. Everybody went out to watch the game. Everybody was watching with their families. You could see like a whole like nation actually supporting the football team, and it was very cool seeing that. Very cool.
It's a special moment, absolutely, that will go down in Jordanian folklore. Mo, thanks very much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking some time out to have a chat. Good luck for those upcoming World Cup qualifiers. You said the one in Iraq is going to be huge, but every game from here on is going to be huge. And hopefully, we'll be seeing you in North America in 2026.
Inshallah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you.